I want to do a master study with Copics.
1, 2, 3, jump!
Hello my friends! Welcome back to another episode of Let's Draw! With me, Pascal Heinzelmann, and my trusty sidekick, Stock Footage Dog! If you're anything like me, then you always want to learn more and improve your artwork. But sometimes you just lack motivation. For both of those points, it is just great to study the masters, to infuse yourself with their knowledge and their energy, and just give yourself a motivational boost by creating something beautiful. Great questions. Who are the masters and how do we study them?
Story time.
In art history, old masters are fully trained artists from the 13th to the 18th century. They got their title master from their artist's guild. These are people like Leonardo da Vinci from the Italian High Renaissance, or Rembrandt from the golden age of Dutch Baroque painting. But there are tons of other ones, and it's really great to explore them, just like I explore Instagram every 5 minutes. Cool. Chris had yet another lunch. One day you will be. Nowadays, being a great master of art is a bit more subjective. And in my opinion, there are some truly great artists that get way too little credit from the art community. But I mean, who am I to question the endlessly overthinking fine art critiques, am I right? Of course, I'm not talking about a master's degree in art. I mean, technically, yes, you are a master of art, but you're not a master of art. So, kurz gesagt, for today's purpose, a master is anyone you admire and you think you can learn from. For me, that's of course the old masters from long ago, but also many contemporary artists from all different kind of fields. I love Kim Jung-gi, a comic book artist from Korea, or Evan Amundsen, an artist who published these amazing books, but also some of my fellow alumni from FCD School of Design. So now that I established what a master is, how do we actually study them? Well, for a start, we could just copy them. Almost all musicians cover other people's songs as part of their learning journey. The writer Hunter S. Thompson just retyped The Great Gatsby to get a feel for how it is to write a great novel. So there is some merit to just copying, but don't copy mindlessly. If we copy another artist as a study, we want to analyze it, we want to understand it, we want to be specific in what we're looking for. You could study their technique, their lines, their colors, how they use perspective, what tools do they use, and how exactly do they use them. Or you could study their content, their design, the storytelling elements, what are their influences, how do they remix reference. But just make sure, don't just look at pictures all day. You have to practice yourself, you have to do the drawings. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the best tool for learning. For every okay drawing that I show you, I have 50 drawings I don't want to show you. So enough of the theory. Let's start practicing. The artist I studied for this episode is Cedric Peyravernays. It's French. Cedric Peyravernays. It's Cedric P. I know there is at least one French guy laughing his ass off right now in Dubai. The work Cedric did is outstanding, and I love how much grit his paintings have. He creates great textures with his brushwork, and he uses interesting lighting conditions. His style and abstraction has a beautiful graphic quality without lacking three-dimensional structure. I used Copic pens to copy some of his work, and I focused on the textures and the grid, and I tried to mimic his technique with Copic markers. The reason why I did that is because after last episode I felt like everything was a bit too soft. I mean, it was a nice drawing, but it lacked some grit and character. Most of these studies turned out pretty cool. I mean, I'm no Cedric P yet, but I'm pretty confident to take next step.
After studying Cedric's art with my Copics, it is now time to apply what I learned. I decided to do another rendition of Ira, the hunter character from last episode. This time I focus more on the textures and also try to learn from Cedric's lighting choices. I keep my studies and Cedric's art close by, so whenever I'm stuck I can look back at those and inform my decisions. So I'm still studying now, but I start to use my own design for it. So the first step was copying. Now in this second step, you apply the techniques to your own design, and over time we have the third step, where you unconsciously start to remix all your influences with your own personality and eventually become creative.
There it is! Ira with more grit. Yeah, I mean, nothing is final yet. You guys are witnessing my creative process, and along the way you will always have some missteps. So I'm not sure if I prefer this episode's version or last episode's version of Ira, but you know, this time I try to focus on the texture and the character. I wanted to experiment with some different style, and also I tried to apply some crazy colors. But speaking of style, I took some online courses to learn, and there I also drew Ira, but in a completely different style. She's way more cartoony and stylized, but it was a lot of fun. And it's definitely not off the table for me to go in such a direction with her in the future. So tell me what you think. So this has been it for today. Next episode we're gonna dive deeper into the story of our world, and we're gonna introduce some more designs. So until then, stay motivated and keep studying.